All right, today we have your favorite Disney movies, Dark Origin. And I'm not really a Disney person, but just want to see where these stories came from.
The Little Mermaid. Disney's The Little Mermaid tells the story of Ariel, a young mermaid who dreams of life on land. She makes a deal with the Sea Witch, loses her voice, undergoes a magical transformation, and ultimately wins Prince Eric's love. Happily ever after.
No, it's crazy. Never seen it. I know. I'm pretty sure I've seen the beginning. I know what happened at the end, but I don't know how we get there. That's the thing with Disney movies, bro. I've seen the beginning, but I know what happens at the end, but I don't know how they connect.
But the original story by H.C. Andersen, it's a dark tragedy of pain and sacrifice. In the original, the mermaid's longing isn't just for love, it's for a human soul. Mermaids live for hundreds of years, but when they die, they simply vanish into sea foam. Humans, however, are granted eternal souls. To obtain one, a human must love her, and she him, binding a piece of his soul to hers. After saving the prince's life and falling in love with him, the mermaid decides that she wants to be human. She seeks out the Sea Witch. The cost? Excruciating pain, and her tongue.
Damn, I ain't gonna lie, they took some, like, they really, like, whatchamacallit, really, brought it down. She just took, what's her name, face, Melissa McCarthy, Tilda, I don't know what her name is, Ursula, am I right? Ursula just took, like, the singing, but her whole tongue.
Oh, and she must marry the prince. If not, she will dissolve into sea foam the morning after his wedding. The mermaid accepts, leaving her family and former life behind. When she drinks the Sea Witch's potion, it feels like a sword is piercing her body. Every step she takes on land feels like walking on knives, and her feet bleeds terribly. She is taken in by the prince, and dances for him despite the...
Just imagine, they don't get me. Imagine he's making her dance, you know what I'm saying? He gets the neck, whatever, and he's like, nah, I'm good.
Unbearable pain. But he never falls in love with her. Instead, he marries a princess, believing she's the one who saved him. The Sea Witch offers the mermaid a way out, and her sisters brings her the tool, a dagger. If she kills the prince and let the blood drip on her feet, she can return to the ocean. But she cannot get herself to kill the man
Damn, they really just know how to and just move a story in a different direction. Jesus.
He loves. So she throws herself into the sea, dissolving into foam. And yet, Andersen offers a final twist. Instead of disappearing, the mermaid becomes a daughter of the air, earning a second chance. If she does good deeds for 300 years, she will finally receive a soul. Pinocchio.
I'm not even going to lie. Maybe it's a matter of you don't know what you have until you lose it. But if I'm already packed up, I've been reincarnated, I am not sure I am going to be so, you know what I'm saying, desperate for a soul. You feel me? Like, I'd rather just, if it's my time, I'd rather just go. I don't want to know what happens after.
Disney's Pinocchio is a story of growth and redemption. A wooden puppet, eager to be real, learns the values of honesty and bravery. Sure, he stumbles. Pleasure Island, Stromboli, a monstrous whale. But with Jiminy Cricket guiding him, he proves himself worthy and earns his humanity. But in Carlo Collodi's original Pinocchio, there was no happy ending.
Whoa.
Pinocchio isn't just mischievous, he's rotten. From the moment Geppetto carves him, he mocks and mistreats his creator. He steals, lies.
Ha ha ha, you can't have a son. You can't have a... Ha ha ha, you can't have a son. Look at the old man making a child. So who bands is this, bro? Made a whole child because he can't get no hus.
and ignores every warning. And his first encounter with the talking cricket? He smashes it with a hammer. Geppetto teaches Pinocchio to walk, and he immediately runs away, which gets Geppetto arrested for allegedly mistreating the puppet. When Geppetto is...
It's a puppet. That's like if you punch a... Oh, man, my brain is moving slow today. Like you punch a teddy bear, and then you get arrested for harming a teddy bear.
Finally released, he sells his only coat to buy Pinocchio a school book. But does Pinocchio go to school? Of course not. Instead, he gets into even more trouble. He sells the book to get a ticket for a puppet show. He is nearly burned alive, and later nearly fried in a pan. And then,
He's made of wood. Wouldn't you want to throw him in the fire and put him on the stove?
choices finally catch up to him. He falls in with two criminals, the fox and the cat, who lead him deep into the woods. There, they bind his arms, slip a noose around his neck, and hang him from a tree. Pinocchio is dead.
But he's a puppet. He's not a real... He's a puppet. He was never alive. He just had autonomy. What's he at?
The end. Or at least, that's how it was supposed to end. Collodi originally intended the story of a puppet as a warning against bad behavior, but readers protested they wanted more. His publisher pressured him to continue the story. So Collodi pulled a deus ex machina, introducing the Blue Fairy to save Pinocchio. From there, his misfortunes continue. He turned into a donkey. He nearly drowned and was later swallowed by a monstrous fish. But this time, he changes. He learns, he sacrifices, and finally, after proving himself, he becomes a real boy.
Hey, was this the first retcon in history?
Snow White. Disney's Snow White and the
Let me guess. Nah, it's inappropriate for YouTube. She just never woke up ever again.
Seven Dwarfs is a classic fairy tale of good triumphing over evil, a jealous queen, a poisoned apple, and a true love's kiss that brings Snow White back to life. But in the original Brothers Grimm story...
Man, that story is so outdated and misogynistic. Like, we don't really get to see what Snow White's really about. That's my biggest problem with Snow White. Like, we don't get to know what Snow White's dreams or aspirations are. We don't get to see her complete her. That's the real problem with Snow White. It's just misogynistic.
Story, there is a bit more torture and cannibalism. The queen isn't just vain, she's a monster. When the magic mirror tells her Snow White is more beautiful, she orders the huntsman to carve out her lungs and liver and bring them back as proof. Oh, and she also intends to eat them.
This before or after the English brought over spices. Because if she's going to eat human intestines cooked regularly, I don't think that would taste good, my bro.
The huntsman spares Snow White, who finds refuge with the dwarfs. But the queen doesn't just try once. She tries 3 times to kill her.
Damn.
First, she laces Snow White's corset so tight that she suffocates. The dwarfs cut her free.
How would she get there?
Just in time. Next, she places a poisoned comb in her hair.
Damn. How does one poison? Because a comb never goes into your head for real. It just, you know what I'm saying? For me, I just pick it out. You know what I'm saying? Unless the poison's contact poison.
Knocking her unconscious. Again, the dwarfs save her.
Sorry.
Then comes the apple.
Okay, maybe she used magic and disguised herself as different people to get there. Because 3 times. You let her pack you up 3 times.
This time, Snow White doesn't wake up. The dwarfs place her in a glass coffin, believing she is dead. But forget the true love's kiss. The prince has nothing to do with her revival. In the Grimm version, the prince becomes so obsessed with her that he carries the coffin everywhere. That is, until one of his servants, fed up with carrying her around, smacks Snow White on the back. The jolt dislodges.
Oh my. So one. Dude never met her, I'm assuming, and is obsessed, is carrying her around in a box. You know what I'm saying? Then his man's who he's traveling around, I'm not sure what he plans to do with this box, but we're just gonna leave that to your imagination. But he's just carrying around this girl in a box, right? He got his man's with him. His man's like, bro, let's leave her. She's watching Michael Jackson right now, or wherever. She's at a Shakespeare recital. I don't know. It goes on back in the old days, right? Just carrying. Bro, who smacked her, was already upset this whole time. And he's like, bro, let me. And they just wakes her up. Now he has to be a servant to her and the dude.
The poisoned apple from her throat, and she wakes up. The prince, overjoyed, promptly asks her to marry him. A confused Snow White accepts.
You don't know, bro. You know what I'm saying?
And the queen? She doesn't just fall off a cliff. At Snow White's wedding, she tries to kill Snow White once again. The prince, fed up with her antics, forces the queen to wear burning hot iron shoes and dance until she collapses and dies. Sleeping Beauty. Disney's Sleeping Beauty is a tale.
Sleeping Beauty and Snow White aren't the same person.
Of romance and magic. A princess cursed to sleep for 100 years.
No way, I knew that.
Awakened by true love's kiss. The evil fairy is vanquished, and Aurora dances into her happily ever after. And for once, the Brothers Grimm version is nearly identical. Their little Briar Rose follows the trajectory. Royal birth, a curse, spindle, century-long sleep, and a prince arriving just in time.
Is sleeping for that long to even like? No way, she didn't actually sleep for a century because she would have grown old. She just was going to sleep for a century. But that's like giving someone a like 2 life sentences. Like, do you really expect her to be asleep and survive to 100? Especially back in those days, they didn't have IVs and junk. And also, what if they decide just to like pull the plug and just in her heart?
Good job, Disney. Well, except for one thing. The Grimm tale isn't the original. It's based on a French fairy tale by Charles Perrault. And Perrault? He borrowed from an even older and darker Italian story called Sun, Moon, and Talia by Giambattista Basile. At Talia's birth, astrologers predict that her downfall will come from a splinter of flax. Terrified, her father bans all flax, hemp, and spinning materials from the kingdom. But one day, a peddler woman, completely unaware of this royal decree, spins flax right outside the castle. Curious, Talia invites the woman into the castle. She touches the spindle, gets a splinter under her nail, and immediately drops dead.
You didn't decide to tell your daughter, like, you know what I'm saying? When we were born, we kind of got the message that if you touch anything spinning, anything pointy, you're gonna be sent up to Shakespeare. You didn't decide. That's like not telling your kid they have an allergy.
Heartbroken, her father abandons her body in a distant palace and leaves her there. Then, one day, a king from a neighboring land stumbles upon her. Struck by her beauty, he tries to wake her. When that fails, he carried her to a bed where he gathered the first fruits of love.
They didn't have like anybody for like to make sure things were PG. You didn't have an editor who was gonna be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But brother man, that's kind of OD. We can't. Damn. Now this is back in the old days, bro. They can do anything. Yikes.
Yeah. 9 months later, Talia
Was it the children's? Oh,
gives birth to twins, Sun and Moon. One of the babies, trying to nurse, sucks the flax splinter from her finger. Talia awakes.
So this whole time, all you had to do was take the finger out. So a baby was able to figure out how to save his mom better than, I'm going to assume, bare minimum 20 people.
And is happy but confused to see her children. Then
Oh, she has
Mr.
kids.
Predator returns. He sees Talia awake and casually explains what he did. Instead of her running away screaming, their friendship was knitted with tighter bonds.
Men are the problem. I understand. I completely understand. Men are the problem. Oh, what? So, imagine you're sleeping, right? You know what I'm saying? You're dreaming about things of that nature. Dreaming about things. You don't know what's going on in the outside world. Someone finds you. You know what I'm saying? They do what they want with your body. Somehow you pop out 2 children. And then you want to be friends with the person that did that to you while you were asleep.
Okay, sure, Basile. Why not? The king stays with Talia for a time before he has to return home to his wife.
Whoa.
His wife, suspicious of his constant hunting trips, discovers the truth. Furious, she orders the children to be kidnapped and cooked into a meal for her husband.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm probably gonna get through like 2 more because this video is getting long, and that's 2 people. That's 2 people who want to eat people or see people get cooked.
Luckily, the cook hides the children and serves the king some lamb instead. Next, the queen sends for Talia. She accuses her of stealing her husband and orders her to be burned alive.
I didn't steal your husband. He found me and committed a crime. So let's get mad at him.
The greedy queen, coveting Talia's fine garments, orders her to remove her clothes first. With every piece of clothing, Talia cries out in grief. The king hears Talia's screams and goes to her, where his wife tells him that Talia will be burned, and that he has unknowingly eaten his own children. Enraged, he throws his wife into the fire. The cook is next in line, but surprise! He reveals that he saved the children. Everyone rejoices. Talia and the king marry, and the cook is rewarded. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you write a fairy tale. The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I've never seen that movie before in my life. I know what happens, but Tarzan. I am gonna hold you. This is gonna be the last one, bro. This is getting weird.
Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame is one of its darkest films. Religious corruption, cruelty, and persecution,
Never seen it.
all wrapped in stunning animation. But in the end, justice prevails, Quasimodo triumphs, and the villains fall.
Oh wait, ain't this the one where the weird looking person. Yes, the pretty black Indian, whatever she is, woman.
However, Victor Hugo's original 1831 novel does not offer a happily ever after. Quasimodo is still a deformed, half-blind bell ringer of Notre Dame, abandoned as a baby and raised by the cold and obsessive archdeacon, Claude Frollo. Like in the movie, Frollo becomes consumed with lust for Esmeralda, a young Roma dancer. When she rejects him, he tries to have her executed. Quasimodo also falls in love with her.
You know what's actually funny? Like, back in the old days, they would call a woman a witch for anything. If a woman would look at a man the wrong way, all he have to say is witch, and then she's burned at the stake or chucked in the ocean.
But to Esmeralda, their relationship is strictly platonic.
Ooh,
her heart
friendzone.
belongs to Captain Phoebus, a handsome soldier. But in Hugo's version, Phoebus is a womanizer who only toys with Esmeralda's feelings.
Cool.
One night, Frollo stabs Phoebus in a jealous rage,
Damn.
and Esmeralda is blamed. Tortured, she confesses to a crime she didn't commit and is sentenced to death. Frollo offers her a way out: submit to him or die. She chooses death. Quasimodo rescues her from the gallows and hides her in the cathedral under sanctuary. But Frollo breaks in and tries to assault her. Failing that, he traps her with a reclusive nun, who turns out to be Esmeralda's mother. Her baby was stolen and replaced with a deformed child, which explains how Quasimodo ended up at the cathedral in the first place. An unwanted Roma baby, switched with the only friend he ever had. The two women share a brief, joyful reunion before the king's men arrive. Her mother clings to her all the way to the gallows. When she is thrown aside, she dies from the fall.
Damn, was it a group throwing or one person just got it like a football and went?
Esmeralda is hanged. Quasimodo, heartbroken and enraged, throws Frollo off the cathedral to his death. With nothing left to live for, Quasimodo vanishes and is never seen again. Years later, two skeletons are found in the charnel house, locked in an embrace, implying that Quasimodo had sought Esmeralda among the decaying corpses and laid down to die while holding her. When separated, the bones crumble to dust.
Ew.
Tarzan.
One more.
Disney's Tarzan is a story of adventure, love, and self-discovery. A boy raised by apes, torn between two worlds, ultimately choosing the jungle and the woman he loves.
If that isn't just a dress and that's what she got back there, amen, say amen.
It's heartwarming and, of course, completely sanitized. Because the original 1912 novel, Tarzan of the Apes, by Edgar Rice Burroughs, is brutal, tragic, and much, much darker.
Again, never seen it. I've seen George of the Jungle, the show. Never seen Tarzan.
Tarzan's aristocratic parents, John and Alice Clayton, are marooned on the African coast. They manage to build themselves a wooden cabin in the jungle. However, a year later, Alice dies of insanity, leaving John to raise their infant son alone. Then, the apes attack. In the novel, Kerchak isn't a grumpy father figure. He's a bloodthirsty killer. He murders Tarzan's father and turns on the child. But Kala, a grieving...
Have y'all ever seen my one clip?
I can hold my baby.
This is it.
But here he go right here. Ain't he cute? What his name is, girl? He looks just like you. He got Marcus Tolos. It is so cute.
That baby is ugly, man. Why is white like that?
Javante.
Why? Is he black? Oh, Marcus black as hell. Why the baby white?
He not white, Titi baby. He just light skinned. Y'all know my great grandpa was mixed with some Indian. We had Indian all up in our family.
This little white baby got lice too.
Boy, that baby ain't white. That's your little cousin. Oh, come on.
TT, you should have shot baby because the show was like you are Uncle Marcus. It's still cute though. It just smell like a wet dog. Oh, Uncle Marcus.
Yeah.
Grieving she-ape who lost her own child snatches the human baby and raises him as her own. She names him Tarzan, White Ape. Tarzan doesn't grow up swinging to fill.
Random question. How does Tarzan know how to speak monkey? Can we just learn how to speak? Do kids just know how to speak anything they're taught?
Collins bangers. He's an outcast, constantly fighting for survival.
Ow.
Smaller and weaker than the apes, he relies on his intelligence. Finding his parents' cabin, he teaches himself to read and write English, and he learns how to use tools. He begins to understand that he is a human, which makes him feel superior to his ape family.
Oh,
However, when his adoptive mother is killed by a local African hunter, Tarzan hunts and torments the tribe, stealing their weapons and killing them for sport.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all getting wiped out by little kids that were raised by monkeys. Y'all deserve it.
The tribe fears him as a vengeful spirit. Later in the story, Tarzan kills his foster father, Tublat,
Cool.
and later he killed the lioness, Sabor.
Alright.
Tarzan's bragging sends Kerchak into a furious rage, so Tarzan offs him too.
Cool.
Tarzan then takes his place as king of the apes. He is a just ruler, but everything changes when Jane arrives. She is marooned with her father and Tarzan's cousin, William Clayton, after a mutiny over lost treasure. Tarzan saves her multiple times, and she falls for him in the jungle. But when she's rescued and
I ain't gonna lie, bro. If Tarzan comes pull smelling like a monkey, anything is possible.
returns to America, everything changes.
America.
Determined to follow her, Tarzan finds the Spanish treasure, saves a Frenchman, and travels to America. But civilization is another world. When Tarzan reunites with Jane in Baltimore, she is hesitant. The wild man
The play with the Tarzan.
who once saved her isn't as intriguing in a suit and tie. Just before he confesses his love, Jane accepts Clayton's proposal.
Damn.
Then comes a letter, proof that Tarzan is the true lord of the estate. If he speaks up, Clayton loses everything. But Tarzan says nothing. Instead, he lets Jane go.
Nah, bro, he don't understand the value of land. Me, I'm saying, hey, yo, look at the note. I'm the one who delivers the paper. You can have the girl, just give me the money. You feel me?
Lets his cousin keep his fortune and walks away from his inheritance, his name, and the woman he loves. Hercules.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna end it there. There's like 5 minutes left, 2 things left. But this video is weird.